Hello, everybody. Hola todos, and welcome to the first stream as part of the RBTV Summer of Streams. And tonight we have a little bit of a doozy, a little bit of an interesting opener here. We have the Concacaf Gold Cup, and tonight you get a little bit of a doozy, a little bit of an interesting one between two countries much more south than the ones we usually talk about. But they're still very solid. It's Curacao and El Salvador tonight. Um, I'm intrigued, and it's going to be a very fun game, very fun stream tonight. Robbie Basil, as always, with you here for these games, and of course here on RBTV. Make sure to like and subscribe. And right now we're just going over the national anthems, and kickoff is just in about 5 minutes time. They're quickly going over the national anthem of El Salvador currently. And for those who are tuning in now, welcome. Real quick, we cannot show the live picture of the stream of the actual game, or we threaten the channel being taken, the stream being taken down, and the channel being taken down. I can't afford for that to happen. So right now, you'll just have me commentating it like it's on radio, something that I do. Actually, we'll start go back to doing very frequently, fairly soon. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one tonight. I'm very excited. Curacao back in the Gold Cup. They're actually on a high right now. The Curacao national team. They advanced pretty comfortably through their group in World Cup qualifying. And on the flip side, El Salvador got very It was a little bit of a more nervous route for them. Of course, they had to go out and draw a very good Suriname team on the last day to get through by 1 point. So El Salvador and Curacao, both of these teams through to the next round of World Cup qualifying, and both of these sides get to duel here on this stream and duel in San Jose, California. Let's take a look at our starting lineups tonight, and they will be on the bottom for you. This is the Curacao team with Room in goal, back four of Martina, Gotti, Van Ejma, and Florenis. Comenencia and Junior Bacuna in central midfield, Margarita, Bacuna, and Gorde in attacking midfield, and Castanier at the striker position. A team that, as mentioned, they are in an interesting spot. And while you can, it's a little bit see through. And I just realized my camera went out. So, yeah, big thing to be focusing on with this lineup is the midfield. They want to control the midfield, and they have to play quickly because El Salvador, they play really slow. And if you can counter the slow pace of El Salvador, then you're going to be in for a very enjoyable time. But Dick Advocate's team, they're in like I said, an interesting spot. And if you pay attention to my channel and to my streams, I've really backed Curacao in this tournament to possibly make a run into the knockouts. I think it's very possible, but it starts tonight, and they need a win tonight in order to really have a chance. Because I don't know if they can beat both Curacao and Honduras. I'm a little bit worried about that, but we're taking a look at the referee crew right now. It's actually an all women's crew tonight with a mixture of referees, mainly from Mexico and fourth official from the United States. On the flip side, let's talk about El Salvador. They're going to go with the same formation under Hernan Gomez. There's your back four, mainly with Cruz and Cibrian at central defense, two holding midfielders of Cartagena and Landeverd, and a attacking midfield trio that is dangerous as well. And Gil at striker. And for those who don't know a lot about Gil, he plays in the second division in Russia, which I'm all for. Like, the interesting stories, you get it in a match like this. And if you look at that, is the way that El Salvador will line up in a game like this. Both teams who play kind of similar, they will be both of them will be needing a win tonight. That's going to be the big focus. Can either of these teams come out, grab 3 points? I don't know. It'll be fun. El Salvador will be in the white jerseys, when we talk you through this contest. And Curacao will be in the blue. So the light blue will be Curacao, white with the blue letters is El Salvador. Battle in Group B, the final group to get underway. Unfortunately, I will not be doing the second game of the doubleheader between Canada and Honduras just because I have actually work tomorrow. So those that don't know, if you're new here, I do broadcast for More Salute. Big shout out to them as well. But yeah, we're ready to go from the looks of it. Curacao back in the Gold Cup. They have won their last 5, including wins, albeit twice against St. Lucia. And we are underway in the Gold Cup, and it's part of the Summer of Streams on RBTV from San Jose, California. Here's Gardy for Curacao. Now they try to go down the left wing, and now Curacao immediately on the move. Here's Gorre. That's Bakuna. He gets taken down, and the referee will point in the other direction. It was Bakuna, the attacking midfielder, who immediately took down the center back, and that will result in a free kick. Good duel between Bakuna and Tamakas for both Curacao and El Salvador, and we're just waiting for play to resume as we're just about a minute in. Early foul call against Curacao. Curacao back in the Gold Cup for the first time in a while. I believe the last time they were here was, 2019 was the last time they were here. But they're a nation on the rise for sure. Here's a flick by El Salvador that's eventually knocked down by the left back for in Florenes, and that one is actually going to result in a whistle. And I think we might have seen. Is that a yellow card in the second minute? Let's take a look at the last play. Interception, and it was a high hand to the face by Bakuna. And it is our first yellow card. So Junior Bakuna, the captain, gets our first yellow card. And we didn't even... Junior, what are we doing, man? Junior Bakuna, who plays, of course, in the Netherlands, for those who don't know. There's one player that a lot of people know immediately when you hear that name in Bakuna. Here's an interception by the other Bakuna, the Bakuna in the number 7. Here's a ball over the top in the direction of the striker, but coming out and making a brilliant play is Gonzalez to head it towards his left back in Flores, but it was out of play for a throw for Curacao. Initially preparing to take the throw was Margarita, but it will be taken by Martinha. Now the ball gets moved over to Van Ejma. Now to Gotti, the other center back. Curacao currently in possession, now back into their own half. A Curacao team that will be a real threat in the next round of World Cup qualifying. I believe they're in that group with like Jamaica or something and Trinidad. I said it in my stream on Friday, they could be a nation that backdoors a spot into the World Cup. Here's a nice interception by Florenes. And it's hit forward in the direction of Henriquez, but it was taken away. And now here comes Curacao with Comenencia, and he'll go to the wing, but it's hit out of play for a throw. Margarita will take the throw for Curacao. 4 minutes in here in the early stages of the Gold Cup. Gold Cup group stage, match day 1 in Group B. As Flores will hit it off of Margarita, and will be out for a throw right by the corner flag, about 10 paces off for El Salvador on their own side. Still very early in this match, but so far it's been Curacao who's been better in possession inside the first 5 minutes. Here's a short clearance intercepted for a minute by Cruz. Correction, that was Van Ejma. And we're going to get a whistle and a foul against El Salvador. That was Gil. And he actually is going to get called, we thought initially with a shoulder to shoulder, but it was actually a handball. Ball over the top in the direction of Bacuna, headed away by Cruz. Ball still ping-ponging around and was initially collected by Gil, but the referee is going to call a foul against Curacao right outside of the 18-yard box of El Salvador. So it is a free kick for the boys in white in El Salvador, a team that a couple of years ago you thought could really be a nation that pushes forward for a spot at the World Cup in 2026. And so far, they had a lot of nervous moments, just like almost like a moment we just had. And we're going to have a foul against El Salvador right in front of one of the technical areas. So it will be a set piece opportunity. Let's take a look at the last play. It was Bacuna and the 7 in blue taking a hand to the face. So it will be a free kick on what would be the near side. It looks like the referee will not ask for the technical, for the staff to come out and take a look at Bacuna. So will be a set piece upcoming for Curacao, but from the looks of it, they will likely be taking it short. Indeed, they will. So Curacao just plays it short, and they're just going to resume play from there. Here is the right center back, Gotti. Now to his center back partner, Van Ejma. And now moved over to Gore. And a nice hit. Good work defensively by Alvarado, who's tracking back. And we're going to get another whistle. Gore and Alvarado must have came together. Something must have happened because Alvarado is on the ground and holding his face. Not really sure what happened there, but nonetheless, it will be a throw-in for Curacao. Like I said earlier, just still very early on in a game like this. Make sure to subscribe. Will be greatly appreciated. We'll be doing more Gold Cup streams, including if you're a fan of Curacao, I might be doing another game for Curacao. And I will be having more guests in the future coming on for these streams and for my other two main shows. As El Salvador's goalkeeper is able to intercept the ball in the throwing, try to punt it long towards the winger in Alvarado, but it was eventually collected by Room, the goalkeeper for Curacao. With it for a moment was Van Ejma. He just plays it back to Room, and we're ready to go again. A very interesting day in the world of soccer. We had a couple dicey Club World Cup matches earlier. You had Dortmund and Fluminense play 0-0. Both matches played in MetLife Stadium so far, as that one goes all the way to the goalkeeper for El Salvador, and he just plays it to his center back. And now here comes El Salvador. They're pushing forward. Here's Gil right to the end line, but a brilliant interception by Bacuna, but it actually turned out that Gil was offside. So it will be a free kick right at the top of this, on the right side of the 6. And ooh, that's very close. From that angle, it made Gil look like he was onside. Very unlucky there for El Salvador as play is back underway. You had Dortmund draw Fluminense 0-0 earlier on. You had a game start late due to a lightning delay earlier with the Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa taking on, I believe, Ulsan Hyundai of South Korea. Here's a nice interception on the far wing by El Salvador, and now it is at the feet of Cartagena. Here's Tamacas, and he'll just move it over to his left center back in Cruz. Here's Cibrian, trying to hit it forward, but it was intercepted by Florinas for Curacao. Spacuna drops it off to Florinas, trying to connect with his left wing partner in Gorday, but is actually out of play for a throw. Almost 10 minutes into this one, not a lot of action in the first 10 minutes. El Salvador and Curacao. Here's Gil for El Salvador, and El Salvador pushing forward, and they're not going to win a foul. Referee says play on. Osorio looked like he got taken down by Pacuna, but referee says no, play continues now. Here it is with Comenencia, and just trying to connect with Margarita, but the pass was too far behind him, and now El Salvador has it again. Here's Flores. And now El Salvador hits a long ball over the top in the direction of Henriquez. The two-man scramble for the ball will go over the end line and out for a goal kick. For those who want a refresher on the lineups, this is what Curacao went with. Just as a brief refresher. If you take a look at one of the most recent challenges, a shoulder-to-shoulder that wasn't called by the center referee. And if you did not hear the open, all-female ref crew tonight for this opening match in Group B here in the Gold Cup, the final group to get underway. Here's initially an interception by El Salvador, but it gets taken away immediately. And now it's a long ball over the top for Curacao. Here's Gorday. Gorday gets doubled. Gets past one. Could not get past Cibrian. And it'll be out of play for a corner. The first real set piece of our match. And it will go to Curacao. The tiny island right at the bottom of Central America will get the first set piece tonight. You probably got to imagine they're going to look for the big man and Castaneer. He'll be taken on the near side. And he'll be, I believe, taken by Bacuna. He elects to go short. Bacuna to Bacuna. Now it is Junior. Now here's a low cross, but handled poorly by the goalkeeper Gonzalez. Here's Junior Bacuna, but a big save by Gonzalez. Could not make the initial save. And it was Junior Bacuna right on the doorstep. And couldn't not get it past the El Salvadorian goalkeeper. And they'll be out for another corner. Second corner now for Curacao. That is the type of look you needed if you are the boys in blue tonight. Bacuna, low cross, front post. Cleared away initially, and now El Salvador initially looked like they had numbers on the break, but that attack got broken up by Florinas for Curacao. By the way, if you're a fan of either team, and I'm saying a player wrong, please call me out on it in the chat so I can, learn. I'm not the best with the Dutch names. I know it's a struggle. I am not Dutch. I'm I don't know a lot. It's one of the few languages I don't know really any words in. I know a couple words in a few, but Dutch, nothing for me. Bacuna in the midfield for Curacao. And they just go play it back to the right back, Martina. And he tries to go with a long switch towards Florinas right at the midfield line on the near side, but it goes out of play for a throw. It will be taken by Tamacas for El Salvador. Almost 15 minutes played now, 0-0 between Curacao and El Salvador. Long throw initially intercepted by Gari. And Curacao just hit it all the way up, but it will go into the 18-yard box and quickly collected by Gonzalez. Here it is now with Cruz. Hit it towards the direction of Gill. Knocked down initially right afterwards by Osorio. And now here comes El Salvador pushing forward. Here's a low cross, but it was actually into the 6-yard box and collected by Room, the goalkeeper for Curacao. Now it will be the C and the ABC Islands trying to build up an attack once again. Here's Bakuna in the 7 in blue. That's a nice interception there initially by Tamakas, who's gotten the better of that duel so far. But Curacao are eventually able to win it back again, and there's a nice ball over the top trying to find Margarita, but it was collected right away by Gonzalez. Now here is El Salvador. They're going to get dispossessed again. Or no, my apologies. It's going to be a throw-in for El Salvador. Looks like they must have said, the referee says it went off of the foot of Florinus, and it's out of play for a throw. So it'll be a throw-in right at the midfield line, right in front of the technical areas for El Salvador. Long throw, flicked on by Bakuna, by Junior Bakuna, and there's another shoulder-to-shoulder. Referee says play on. Ball still up in the air, bouncing around. Countless headers. Cleared away by Florinus. Still a duel in the midfield, and we're going to have a whistle, and I think we might have had a head injury to one of the players from El Salvador. That was Osorio, who was going for an aerial duel with, I think... Let's take a look at that play. Yeah, it's just an aerial duel with Van Ejma. And we're going to have a stoppage of play. So there, right now, we're just waiting for play to resume. The referee has called for the trainers to come over due to a serious head injury. So that is what we are waiting on right now. El Salvador, not sure if they're going to warm up a substitute or not. We'll just have to wait and see for that. Gotta say, El Salvador, and I think a lot of the Central Americans, these Central American countries do this very well. They bring a good atmosphere. Some countries don't travel as well as others, but El Salvador, especially if you're playing in San Salvador, it is a very tough environment to play in there. And that's a big theme with a lot of countries in Central America. If you pay attention to a national team like the U.S. men's national team, for example, they've always struggled away to Panama and Costa Rica. And sometimes El Salvador, they're on the attack now with a little bit of a Travella cross. I'm not sure what that was about, but it's out for a corner. So the first set piece is now coming for El Salvador, and it'll come on the far side. So a good buildup of play by the boys in white, who have not lost the game in their last 5 and are coming off of a big draw against Suriname fairly recently. Freak corner taken from the far side to low cross, headed away by Curacao. And one of the El Salvador players tried to knock it back in. Flores tried to loft the ball back into the box, but he actually might register that play as a shot as it goes over the bar and out for a goal kick. So yeah, not a lot of shots on target. I think if we look at the live stats courtesy of FootMob, we have 1 shot through almost 20 minutes. Yeah, that's where we're at with this game right now. We have 1 shot and 1 yellow card. That is where we're at right now, guys. Room hits it forward. El Salvador is starting to bring a little more pressure. There's a duel on the far side. That's won by Henriquez. It's still with Henriquez. A brilliant ball towards, I think, Gill, but it was taken away initially. And winning a foul will be Curacao. Good tracking back by Comenencia. And he's going to win a free kick. Take a look at the last play. It was a duel between him and Gill. And Gill just shoves him down from behind. Careless tackle. It'll be a free kick for Curacao. What's interesting about this tournament is that we've had a lot of goals. There's only been 2 matches that have had 1 goal or less. And that was Haiti, Saudi Arabia, and then the nightcap of last night with Jamaica and Guatemala, by the way. We'll talk about it a little bit later, I believe, but what a win for Guatemala last night. Beating the Reggae Boys of Jamaica 1-0. Talk about that more probably at the half, as we're going to get a free kick right after the goal kick. It's going to be a high boot, so it'll be an indirect free kick. Here's Gore. Drops it off for Florenus. Now it's moved over to Gari. Kirkson's Martina now dribbling it out of bounds. Is Gari, so it looks like they might have swapped those two. I believe Martina with the interception passes it back to Room, who just hits it forward. Was one back by El Salvador for a moment, but now Junior Bacuna has it. Now Comenencia. Now it's the other Bacuna. Curacao with numbers on the break. Here's Gore. Gore cuts it inside, but couldn't get it past 2 defenders. Got it past 1. Couldn't get it past the second. Now a clearance initially by Tamakas gets blocked, but it goes eventually to the feet of Gonzalez. First real bit of attacking play by really anyone in a while. A little bit of a snooze fest of a first half so far. As this one was a long ball in the direction of Henriquez, but it's going to go over the sideline, out of play for a throw. Gari and Henriquez dueling, and Henriquez actually took a shot from behind, but referee says no. It's the aerial duel and be a throw-in for Curacao. Long ball over the top in the direction of Castaneer. Is a little bit of a bicycle kick clearance by Cibrian. And we're going to get a foul in the midfield. Getting taken down that time was the 20 of Osorio. That was actually Van Agema with the bicycle kick clearance earlier. How about that play? That was really his only option, unless he wanted to play it back to the goalkeeper and risk a big opportunity for Curacao. Here's a ball over the top, trying to get to the left winger Henriquez, but it was over the end line and out for a goal kick. "23 minutes played, absolutely nothing has happened. What you guys can do to make this stream a little bit better is hit that subscribe button. Would be greatly, greatly appreciated. El Salvador wins the ball back. Excellent job there by the 20 of Osorio, dropping back and making that interception. And now play will continue. A little bit of physicality being shown now. Here's the 21, Tamakas. His pass taken away. And now Curacao on the break with Junior Bacuna. Bacuna low ball towards Castaneer, and he's going to get whistled for a handball immediately. So Curacao showing some life in the attack, which is good. We're actually seeing things happen, but it will be a free kick upcoming for El Salvador. And make sure to write in chat as well. I'm interested to see what you guys think of the match as tonight goes on. It'll be Gonzalez to clear. Trying to find Gill, but the ball is trying to roll into the box towards Room, the other goalkeeper, and the Curaçaoan goalkeeper able to make the play. Room, the goalkeeper, plays Cercle Brugge in Belgium. 36 years old, guys. 36, and the starting goalkeeper for the opening match of the Gold Cup for his country. Here's a pass in the direction of Bacuna, but it was intercepted, and now El Salvador are pushing forward now themselves. It's wide. I believe it's Henriquez. He's going to go for goal, and a save by Rube. Follow-up chance is not even close. And it's out of play for a goal kick. And it's a much better play there. Henriquez was the one who took it. That shot is a missile towards the near post, and Room was able to make the initial save, couldn't hold on to it, and the follow-up just went nowhere. Here's a duel on the far sideline, and we're going to get a whistle and a foul against El Salvador. Flores took down Margarita, and it'll be a free kick for Curacao. Yeah, Flores just tugging on the arm of Margarita, and it's an easy whistle there for the referee. Curacao pushing forward now once again. These two teams starting to show some life in this game as this ball will go out for a throw and about 5 yards away from being in line with the 18. Here's Bacuna trying to find Junior Bacuna. Do not get it confused. They have Junio Bacuna and Leandro Bacuna. It was actually Leandro Bacuna who got the yellow earlier. They changed it. So that's my apologies for that. Comenencia loses it. And now here comes El Salvador. But a good interception. Good tracking back by Gore. And now here's Junio Bacuna. And we might get a whistle. No. Long ball at the top by Junio Bacuna, I think. But it's able to be dealt with and cleared away by the El Salvador goalkeeper. Long ball in the direction of Gil. Gil's going to win it. And he goes for goal, but shot not very close. He had a very tough angle. And it's eventually collected by Flores. Now here comes Curacao near side. But a nice interception there once again. This time Cartagena. Passing it back now was Alvarado. And he'll be out for a throw. Shout out to everyone who's viewed the stream so far. I know it hasn't been the most interesting game in the world. Got a couple new subscribers. Road to 50 subs here for RBTV. Took a break from this channel, came back, rebranded it, and now we're kicking off the biggest event in channel history. As that throw was in the direction of Osorio, trying to find a way to put it towards goal, but it goes into the hands of the goalkeeper Room, and play continues. But yeah, RBTV came back. Originally, it was just my one show, the Robbie Basil show. We'll talk about more about my channel in a second, as we're going to get no foul, actually. There's a duel in the midfield, and an El Salvador player got taken down, but now we're going to get a throw, and now starting to see a little bit more life in this game. Both teams going at it. So Leandro Bacuna was the player who got the yellow card earlier. He's the only one who has had a yellow. Leandro plays for Groningen in the Dutch league, and Junio Bacuna plays for Al Wada. Al Wada being in the Saudi league. Ball near side with Curacao. Initial cross blocked. Alvarado had it for a moment, and now I'm able to make a pass, and El Salvador controlling the midfield now. Goes wide to Tamacas. His cross, top of the 18, taken down for a moment. A little bit of a spin move, dropped off, shot blocked. That was taken by Osorio. Laid back, and now good fluidity in the attacking third by El Salvador, but pass got broken up, and Curacao just able to clear it as we're approaching the half an hour mark here in half number 1. in the first ever international game here on this channel. And it's Curacao and El Salvador. I didn't think that's what it would be, but here we are. Duel in the El Salvador half is Junior Bacuna taking down an El Salvador player. Here's the biggest moment of the match so far, and it was the double save by Gonzalez for the Salvadorian goalkeeper. That is the biggest moment so far, as both Bacunas talking to the referee. She's trying to just calm things down a little bit. Take a look at one of the most recent plays is Junior Bacuna dueling with the 23 of Cartagena. So that's what we're waiting for, is just for play to restart here in the 31st minute. Long ball over the top, initially played by Curacao. Martina won the initial header, and he has it now for Curacao. Tried to clear it, but only went to as far as Flores. Now it's wide. El Salvador pushing forward. No one able to really get a good shot on target in about 15 minutes or so, and Curaçao's going to win it back. An advantage is being played, and Curaçao's numbers on the break the other direction. But good tracking back by El Salvador. The defense was there, and now El Salvador tries to push forward the other way. Actually, now just going to slow things down and try and build up a possession. Here it is near side, initially with Alvarado, and his pass taken away, and now Curacao going the other way. Long ball over the top in the direction of Margarita, but is intercepted by Flores. Now a clearance, and was initially won back by Curacao, but it's headed out of play for a throw. Yeah, taking a look at the last play of Cibrian, who was just grabbing Castaner, the striker. I'm surprised that the referee didn't go back and give a yellow card to Cibrian. Something to watch out for later on for sure, as El Salvador playing through the back, and it was cleared forward by Cruz, headed out by Garry, and it's out for a throw-in. On the far side, right about the midfield line for El Salvador. El Salvador are in white, moving left to right. Curacao right to left. It's actually farther back than I thought, but nonetheless, it'll still be El Salvador taking the throw-in. Throw-in was in the direction of Gill, but it was too far for him, and now Curacao have it back once again. Here's Martina. Comenencia back to Martina. And all the way back to Room, the goalkeeper. Play just slowing down more and more as this half has progressed. Room just waiting for any pressure to come. And as I said earlier, with the way this group can play out with Canada and Honduras, it'll be very tough to get through this group for either of these two if a draw does occur. So it'll be interesting to see as the last 11 minutes and change play out, how the last 11 minutes and change will play out. Curacao playing it through the back. They try to move it forward towards Junior Bacuna, but it's out of play for a throw for Curacao near side. Throw will be taken by Florence. Down the line it went. Was headed away for a moment, but now Curacao pushing forward. Moving forward was Gorre, but gets dispossessed, and ball's eventually cleared by the goalkeeper Gonzalez, but his clearance was poor. It'll be a throw near side, and Curacao take it quickly. Playing it back to Junio Bacuna. Bacuna tried to spin away from two defenders and is going to get whistled for a foul again. As we're inside the final 10 minutes of half number one. Big thank you to everyone who's tuned into the stream so far. There's been a little bit of a snooze fest, not going to lie. I think that's an understatement, but there's still so much that can happen. You just got to wait and see. As there's a ball over the top in the direction of Brian Gill. Brian Gill had a chance, but good work there by the Curacao defense. Able to track back and play it back to the goalkeeper room. That's actually the best chance that El Salvador have had in a while. And the left back, and Flores hitting a long ball over the top in the direction of Gill. That was the boot of, I believe, Martina that beat the striker there. Here's Junio Bacuna. He's pushing forward and gets taken down, and this will be a yellow card. So the second yellow of the game. We'll see who the official number is for the yellow card. It was tough to tell initially. It's going to be the 23 of Cartagena. So now it'll be a set piece opportunity for Curacao. Be taken from still a long way out. Leandro Bacuna will take it towards the far side of the 18. Chested down initially by Curacao. Played high in the air. I believe Osorio. Now a duel for the ball. Gill is part of that picture, but Comenencia will come up with it for Curacao. And it's out of play now. Margarita was also in that duel, and it's out of play for a throw. And with just under 8 minutes to go, plus stoppage time in half number one. 2 yellow cards, one for either team. Leandro Bacuna got one inside 2 minutes. And it was Cartagena for El Salvador, who got one about a minute ago now. There's a ball into the wide areas with Margarita. Dancing in the 18-yard box was the 3 of Gari. And we're going to get a whistle as the ball is intercepted and cleared, and a player is down. It's Cruz, the center back. Jorge Cruz, who plays for Hercules in El Salvador, a team that finished bottom of the league in the Clausura, but in the Apertura, they finished 6th. Very confusing league this is. I don't know. How does this league work? It's like a knockout. This is so confusing. I'll learn more about the El Salvador League later. There's a ball over the top in the direction of Gill, headed away for a minute. And now it'll be actually cleared off of a El Salvador player now for a goal kick. I don't know right now. I mean, you guys can say it in chat. If you're a fan of either of these teams, which I don't know if any of you are you content with this half? I don't know. I mean, a lot of missed opportunities, and there's another reckless challenge, and we're going to get a yellow card again. So both Bakunas are on a yellow card. Well, now makes my life a whole lot easier. So it'll be Junio Bakuna and Leandro Bakuna. Both on yellow cards. Yeah, it's a duel between Bakuna and Cartagena. Yeah, it's just for a billion fouls that were called against Junio today. We're going to get another foul. Referee might be losing control of this game a little bit. Comenencia got whistled that time. Trying to play the restart was Henriquez. We're just waiting for play to resume again. Is, like I said, not a lot happening. What would be funny right now is if I got like a DM or something. Here's a ball towards the back post. Well struck, and it was headed on. And it'll hit the side netting. Not bad there from the two of Cibrian, but he's actually whistled for an offside offense. So disregard that opportunity. Ball cleared away by Room. We've actually eclipsed over 200 views now, so shout out to you guys. Here's a clearance by Curacao. And we're actually getting another offside offense instead of a clearance, as Castanera was deemed offside by the assistant referee. So yeah, big ups to you guys tonight. Just make sure we hit the sub button, though. That'll be pretty freaking cool. Pushing forward now is Cibrian, but his pass gets taken away by Van Ejma. And Curacao just playing in the back again. We've had a couple of chances. But for those who don't know, I was at the match earlier at MetLife, and we didn't see a goal. So far, I've watched over, what is it now, 130 minutes? Over 130 now. 0 goals. I'm kind of getting up there with what the MetLife numbers are. They've seen 180 minutes at one stadium and they didn't see a goal. So far, I could see 180 minutes in one day and see nothing. But Curacao are trying to break that trend. As they were trying to move it forward, but a nice deflection by Flores. And it's out of play for a throw, taken quickly by Curacao. Junio Bakuna was playing with one of his mates, and now a nice through ball attempted by Margarita in the direction of Comenencia, but again, intercepted and hit out of play by Flores. Again, with a sliding challenge as well. Throw-in taken short. And a poor pass by Comenencia. And it'll be a throw-in for El Salvador. 43rd minute. So we still have a little bit of time left in this opening half, but not a lot. Here's a duel on the far sideline, and looked like Margarita just shoved down Enriquez. It'll be a free kick coming for Curacao, or correction, for El Salvador. Yeah, not the most. I think the way to word it, right? It's not the most fun half to watch. But boy, was it interesting, because we had scraps galore. We've had a lot of fouls, and a nice ball, and a couple of nice balls like that. Is the direction ball was in the direction of Gil, but it got intercepted. But El Salvador wins it back, and they're going to get a set piece from about 40 yards out. Winning the foul that time was Cartagena. So, as we're about to head into the 45th minute, it will be a set piece upcoming for El Salvador. And will be taken by the 17 of Henriquez. Ball whipped in back post, but it goes past everyone. They had a couple numbers in the box that time. Looked like Ciprian was one of them, but it goes a little bit too far, and it's out for a goal kick. That's an excellent ball whipped in, by the way, by Henriquez. The issue is, I think that one would have been called it back for an offside offense. But yeah, it was a good ball in, but just no one there. It's been a little bit of a theme now. When there's opportunities for El Salvador, they just have had no one in a spot where they needed them. Maybe at the top of the 18 or in the 6 or by the penalty spot. They just haven't been able to get that last pass in. 1 minute of additional time as Curacao are with it, and we're actually going to get a foul. And a yellow card. Hello. So we're going to get a yellow card to the 9 of Gill. As he dove late into a challenge. Ooh, and it was studs up too. Luckily, it was only deemed a reckless challenge by the referee, and it'll be a yellow card. That should probably send us to the halftime, to our halftime score. Here's Leandro Bacuna. Played it back to Venejma. Curacao hit it forward in the direction of Castanier, and that will do it for half number 1. Not the most intriguing half in the world. Not by any means, but there were some interesting moments nonetheless. But at the break, the first half ends the way we started it. I'll be right back. Gotta put some numbers and get the halftime report ready for you guys. But 45 minutes down in San Jose, we're still where we're started at 0-0. Check. Are we back? We're back. Yes, sir. We're back. Welcome back. It's halftime right now between Curacao and El Salvador here on RBTV. We're taking a look at the first half highlights. Psych, there was like nothing. So, by the way, who's calling? I just got a phone call while I was doing the halftime stats, and who's calling my phone? The scoreless goal gods, because nothing's happening. Let's take a look at our numbers because there's really nothing notable to talk about. And actually, the stats aren't working. Hold on one second. Let me fix this. Okay. Now it should work. Yes. There we go. So yeah, here are the numbers. Not a lot to go off of, but the one thing you want to point out is the stat on the bottom. By the way, all these stats courtesy of FootMob. And yeah, and this not a lot of anything between the 90th ranked team in the world in Curacao and the 81st team in the world in El Salvador. But the first half an hour, the only real chance you saw, and it was the one shot on target by Curacao, was technically the double save that for some reason didn't get count as multiple shots. That's very weird that they didn't count those multiple shots, unless I'm reading this wrong, which is possible. But yeah, just not a lot happening for Curacao right now. But yeah, someone's gonna have to find a breakthrough because, like I mentioned before, if this game ends at a draw, then both of these sides are gonna be in trouble for the rest of the tournament because then you have to go out and beat Honduras and possibly get a result against Canada. So I mean, I'm very big in this on Honduras this tournament in terms of form, where they can go, what they need to do. I'm high on what their ceiling can be. I have them going to the semifinals. So listen, this tournament, I mean, we've already seen a couple of weird results in the Gold Cup so far, and we have a very interesting one tonight. Very interesting game tonight. In the second game of what would usually be a doubleheader, but we won't be doing that game on RBTV tonight. It is Canada against Honduras. Like I mentioned, Canada, who have under Jesse Marsh, have been interesting. Of course, they're missing a couple of star players due to injury or the Club World Cup, like many of the teams are. Mainly the U.S. national team dealing with that problem. But if you take a look at where Canada, they'll be playing tonight in BC Place, and that Canada team ranked 30th in the world. I actually didn't know they were ranked that high. They were ranked as high as this is their highest ranking. Cool. Yeah, they're ranked 30th in the world. Their most recent loss was to Mexico, but they did beat Suriname in the Nations League. And then played friendlies recently against Ukraine, which they won 4-2, and they drew Ireland. That's actually not that great. They drew Ireland. So take that how you will. But Canada's schedule, they play Honduras tonight. They play Curacao on Saturday, and then a Tuesday duel at 10 p.m. with El Salvador. So Canada, listen, a win for Canada would put them in a very good spot. You know, a win at BC Place tonight in Vancouver would put them in a very comfortable spot having to play Curacao next. Actually, kind of a gift they're playing Honduras now. Because if you lose, if the play continues from Curacao and Honduras, Curacao and El Salvador, this should be a cakewalk for Canada. But Curacao, so far El Salvador have been very difficult to completely break down. The shots have not been great. We've only seen 6 total, and the shot total is 5-1 right now. So definitely something to watch out for in the game tonight. But man, what a very weird situation over there. Of course, with Honduras as well. Honduras, if you haven't been paying attention to them, they're a fun story as well. A team that went into their World Cup qualifying group, beat everybody. They did only beat the Cayman Islands 1-0, which, what are we doing? They did, and also beat Antigua and Barbuda. They finished very well in the nation. They actually were pretty okay in the Nations League. But yeah, they're gonna need a lot to go their way. And this is a group that Honduras can win, which is insane to say with how difficult some of the other groups are. But the 75th team in the world, they have been as low as like 101 recently. 101 in 2015. They've hovered around that 75 to 80 mark for the better part of a year. That Honduras team, we've seen some downs from them, especially in the World Cup 2022 qualifying campaign where they did literally nothing. But they are a team that right now can really threaten some of the top teams in CONCACAF, and we're going to witness that possibly tonight between Canada and Honduras. Other games that have happened today, we're going to go to the Club World Cup because we're going to talk about the other games as well. We have a couple games final between teams like River Plate, who pick up a big 3 points against the Urawa Red Diamonds. River Plate, who scored the first goal of the day by themselves after Fluminense and Borussia Dortmund scored none of them. Coladio nailed it. Scored the opener. It was actually 2-0 River Plate for a bit, but then the Red Diamonds got a penalty. It was converted by Matuso, and then Meza seals the deal 3-1 River Plate. Big dub for my boys from South Africa in the Mamelodi Sundowns, who, after a long lightning delay, they went out and won 1-0 against Ulsan Hyundai from South Korea. So the Mamelodi Sundowns somehow, I think, are top of their group. Is that right? Are the Mamelodi Sundowns top of that group? There's no way they're top of that group, right? Holy crap, they're top of the group. There's been 1 goal scored in 2 games in this group. How is that possible? In a group with Dortmund, Fluminense, Ulsan Hyundai, Mamelodi Sundowns, 1 goal was scored in 180 minutes. Dude, River Plate scored more than that in less than 50 minutes. What are we doing? The other match tonight is Inter and Monterrey. Very interesting spot for Inter. They're currently I mean, that game did just start, but they haven't done anything yet. So as it stands, River Plate's ahead of Inter, which is kind of nuts. Shout out to Flamengo for being ahead of Chelsea somehow, which fair play to them. Biggest shock, I know someone asked me that earlier, texting me, so we'll go over that. Biggest shock was that Bayern actually won 10-0 against someone, which Jesus Christ. They couldn't even do that to that third division team in the cup in the Pokal. Like, what the hell is that? Like, they couldn't do that in the Pokal, but they could do it in this tournament. Don't get that. Also, what is happening to? I mean, Porto Palmet. What's going on in MetLife? Like, no goals in 2 matches is kind of nuts. Very interesting spot in Group B after PSG beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. They get Botafogo next, who look pretty okay against the Seattle Sounders. Is there any MLS team that has a chance to make the knockouts? No. I'm just gonna say how it is. I think the Mexican teams have like a better. How many Mexican teams are there? 2, 3. How many Mexican teams are there? They have Monterrey and Pachuca. Oh yeah, because Leon got banned, removed from the tournament. So probably the team with the probably better chance is Monterrey, but they're gonna need to beat River Plate somehow. They actually play River Plate next. I'll talk about that on Friday. When is this match? Saturday. Cool. In the Rose Bowl. Maybe I don't know. I'll be at work when actually I'll be at a tournament when that happens. But yeah, Gold Cup and the Club World Cup are in full swing. You'll love to see it. And, we're just waiting for our match to come back on here between Curacao and El Salvador. Hopefully someone does something because that would be really fun. But if you have any questions for me or you want me to answer anything, write it in the chat as we are about to actually start the second half. Perfect timing. As we are set to be back underway in just a couple of minutes. Hopefully I got this right. Yeah, there we go. Honduras, not Honduras, wrong game. Curacao and El Salvador. Are we ready for half number 2? For maybe something to happen. Honestly, I don't know. Just calling it how it is. But hopefully we can get the subs down, whatever. We are ready to go. We're underway in the second half. In the Gold Cup opening game of Group B, Curacao and El Salvador. Here on RBTV, I'm Robbie Basil. Thank you so much for being with me tonight for the first ever international national team game that we've done on this channel. Someone asked me, by the way, earlier for the most interesting story in Concacaf right now. How about Bermuda making it to the final round of World Cup qualifying? I don't know what that's about. Pushing forward is Margarita on the near side now for Curacao, moving from left to right in the blue jerseys. Now it's with Leandro Bacuna. It was with Flornes, and he just puts it back to Van Ejma. Now it's with Martina. Swung over to Margarita. Margarita trying to connect an extra pass, but it's intercepted and hit forward in the direction of Gil, but it was headed down by Martina. And now the ball is at with the left back, Flornes. And we're going to get a foul. Gorre got the next pass and got tripped up. As we are now back underway as Curacao play a quick restart. El Salvador moving from right to left in white. Here's Comenencia for Curacao. Tries to go with a through ball in the direction of Castaner. But it was intercepted by El Salvador, and they're now just trying to push forward out of their own half of the field here with Osorio. He drops it off. Long ball over the top, trying to find Henriquez. But it was taken away by the two of Martina. Martina will boot it away. But good tracking back. But was one of the defenders for El Salvador and Tamacas. But he's actually going to get whistled for a handball. And it'll be a free kick for Curacao. Second half underway. Tonight from San Jose, California is where this game is being held. For those who don't know, most of the Club World Cup held on the East Coast, excluding Pasadena, where the Rose Bowl hosted PSG and Atletico Madrid on Sunday. And the Gold Cup stays on the western half of the United States and, of course, Canada, with BC Place hosting a match next week. Actually, no, the hosting a match tonight. That's where the next match is. Long ball in the direction of Castaner, but it's going to go all the way over the end line now. Actually, it was in the direction of Gorre, but it's over the end line now for a goal kick. Not a lot of talking points so far in a game like this. The question will be, who is either team going to create a good enough opportunity to go for goal? Another long aerial ball in the direction of Gil, chested down by Gil, but it was then taken away by Curacao, and they push it forward to Gorre, and he gets tripped up by Osorio, and it'll be a free kick for Curacao. El Salvador really trying to go with those long balls, long aerial, those long floaters in the direction of their striker, Gil. Let's actually take a look at who's on the field for both of these teams, because to my knowledge, there was no substitutions at the break. That is the lineup that is on the field for Curacao at the bottom of your screen. Here it is with Margarita. Margarita trying to dance past the left back, Flores. They're still doing Margarita and Flores. This is going to be out for a corner. So, an opportunity now for Curacao. First set piece for them in the second half. And not a lot of people, a lot of energy right now due to the fact that this game hasn't been the fastest and most entertaining game so far. Leandro Bacuna whips it in, low cross. It's going to be off the arm. So off the arm of the 4 in blue for Curacao. That is Van Ejma. There's a low ball right at the Curacao center back and couldn't get his arm away and hit off the arm, and it'll be a free kick the other way. Taken quickly, but it's a duel on the sidelines. Could be out of play for a throw. And as there's a view of the players from Canada and Honduras, who are playing in the nightcap of the doubleheader that unfortunately will not be streamed here this evening. The next stream will likely be on Friday. So instead of shows, it will be streams like this. There won't be a lot of dates as there's a throw-in cleared away by El Salvador. They actually have it again. They try to go the lofted ball towards the corner flag in the direction of Alvarado, but good shield by Flornes. And it's out for a goal kick. Yeah. So the issue is there's not a lot of dates, but there's a lot of games, a lot of double headers on those dates. So that's like where the upcoming schedule could look like. I believe there's a game on Friday, but this weekend there's nothing because I'll be away. And then next week is where it all really kicks off, is next week. Here comes Curacao down the right wing. Couple connected passes, but the last one too far for Margarita, and it'll be a throw-in. And no one able to really connect passes right now for really either team. Throw-in taken short, but unable to chest it down. It was Osorio, and it'll be a throw-in again for Curacao. And right now, if you're Coach Hernan Gomez, you see your side clear it away trying to get it out of their own half still. It's going to be an interesting final 38 minutes or so as Curacao are pushing down the left wing and are going to win a corner again. Corre will win the corner this time. So it'll be another set piece opportunity upcoming for Curacao. Yeah, so far, so good in the second half for the boys in blue. They've done a lot well. Right now, it's just got to be they need a goal. Someone needs a goal in this game. Low cross. Flicked on. Big save. Gonzalez with the save. And actually, I think might have had a foul as well, which is pretty which would negate the save, but multiple players actually are down in the box. Yeah, big save. She had a collision at the end. It was actually, I thought it was a header by Gary, the center back. The balls actually was won by an El Salvador player, the 20 of Osorio. He tried to head it back to the goalkeeper, and everyone went to ground. So it is a free kick regardless for El Salvador. Yeah, tough break again for Curacao. They're knocking on the door now. Long ball intercepted by Curacao, and now these teams fighting for possession, and the ball go out of play near side by one of the technical areas, but it is a throw-in for Curacao. Throw-in was taken by Gary, and he just throws it back to Martina. Not a lot of quick buildup But when we have seen it, it's been successful. There's a low direct pass towards Junio Bacuna, but couldn't keep hold of it, and it goes all the way to the goalkeeper in Gonzalez. And now El Salvador make an errant pass. It's a one-on-one. Big save by Gonzalez. An errant pass by Flores. And Castaneer could not finish it off as it remains 0-0. And now El Salvador trying to go the other way. Ball is with Landeverd. Landeverd taken down. Play continues. Duel in the midfield, won by El Salvador. Someone's going to need to start pushing forward and go for this. But how about that big time save again by Gonzalez, 28-year-old who plays for Alianza, one of the biggest teams in El Salvador, making a big time save, coming out of his 6-yard box and making a big time save as this diagonal ball was headed away by Gary. And now it's on the left side by the corner flag, near side with Flores for El Salvador. Now cutting to the inside is El Salvador with Henriquez. They try to connect a little 1-2, but it was taken away for a moment, but one back by Flores. Trying to do that roll off the tongue like the other commentators do it, and there's a brilliant sliding challenge. Able to hit it out of play by Margarita. Throw-in will go towards the near side. Originally going towards the corner flag was Gill. He gets it back after a 1-2, but just drops it off. Here is Gill once more. Extra pass. Trying to find Gill on the final ball, but neither team able to get that final pass, and that ball from Flores was not it. And we'll go to the feet of the goalkeeper room. So right now we're heading towards the hour mark. This one's cleared, I believe it's cleared away, but it's out for a throw-in. They just weren't showing what happened, which is very odd. Room, I believe, just hit it long and went out of play near side about 20 yards from one of the technical areas. Past the halfway line. There's a long throw headed out of bounds into the other technical area. I believe that's the Curacao one. Right now, one of these teams is going to have to do something. So it'll be El Salvador to take the throw-in with Flores as we're heading towards the hour mark tonight. Flores takes the throw in the direction of Gill. Flicked on, but headed away by Leandro Bacuna. Now still both teams fighting for the ball. And El Salvador comes up with it, and they're going to win a free kick. Alvarado is going to be the one that wins it this time. So a semi-dangerous position for El Salvador. Yeah, it was a little bit of a physical duel with Florinus. Let's take a look at that big chance we were talking about. As coming out, being big, not hesitating was Gonzalez. It was right, looked like a brick wall right in front of Castaneer. Yeah, it's a big time play. Probably the biggest moment of the game now. Ball towards the back post, flicked away by Venezma. And trying to shield out for a throw-in with Cibrian, and he's going to win a throw-in for El Salvador. And it'll be taken by Flores. He's actually playing very well on 7.3. If you look at the Foot Mob ratings. Here's Henriquez in the corner, back to Flores. And he's going to win another throw-in for El Salvador. Throwing was one back, was El Salvador had it, and they're going to immediately concede a foul. It was Henriquez who was the guilty party that time. And it'll be a free kick for Curacao as we've passed the hour mark now, and still no goals. And really, it's been Curacao who have been better again in the first 15 minutes. But if you remember the first half, El Salvador were able to grow into the half and cause some problems. You have to imagine fairly soon that one of these teams is going to need to make a substitution, not because of player fitness, and we'll explain why in a second, is Junior Bacuno won the ball back for Curacao, but he immediately turned it over. Nice tracking back by Cartagena. Both men on a yellow card. El Salvador clear it forward. Chested down by Flores. Correction by Flornes for Curacao, but El Salvador have it back, and now they're pushing into the 18-yard box far side. Low cross blocked and out of play for another corner. So El Salvador are starting to push forward now, and they're going to get another set piece for themselves here. But really, so far, neither team able to do a lot with any of them. While we're waiting for play to resume, make sure to subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. It's been a long day of soccer for many people. And right now, we're just waiting for play to resume. It's a far side corner. Flicked away and then cleared away by Gorre. And we'll go all the way back to the El Salvador defense, and we'll go all the way back to the goalkeeper, Gonzalez. Now it's Cibrian. Moved over to Tamacas. Trying to force a pass through a tight window, and Curacao force a turnover, and they're pushing forward. It's Bacuna, Junior Bacuna, but he turns it over. Excellent work by Cartagena. Now still a fight for the ball, but it's cleared away by Cruz. Still a duel in the midfield for the ball, but it's El Salvador who has it, and they like to go wide. Pass inside towards Gill. Now a long switch, flicked out of play by Gari. El Salvador starting to show some new life. Flores took the throw in, trying to find Henriquez. His pass blocked. Now Comenencia has it, and now Curacao are trying to push forward, but a brilliant use of the head by Cruz. And now El Salvador in the Curacao half again, playing some short passes and turning it over now. Looked like a shove from behind. Was not called by the referee. Now Curacao will go for a switch to the far side. They're just slowing things down. Has not been great from Curacao so far. Still plenty of time for things to unfold. Here's Leandro Bacuna. Curacao able to find a ball over the top. It's Castanier. Castanier still with it. Castanier. His shot off the bar. Correction, that was Margarita. Thought it was Castanier, but it was Margarita who had it. It was fading away and it hit off the crossbar. Hey. It was tough to tell from the initial camera angle, but actually for a little bit of a chip shot. Trying to do a little Panenka from about 10 yards out. That would have been a great goal for Curacao. And man, they're knocking on the door now. That's an excellent ball over the top. But man, very unlucky for Margarita. There's a foul, and it'll be called against Curacao, so El Salvador will have a free kick. Gerald Margarita, Plays for Phoenix Rising in the USL. Almost had the goal. Here's a very ambitious shot by Osorio. That's not very close to the target. It's out of play for a goal kick. So we're across minute number 65. Someone's going to need to do something. And to be honest with you, I don't know what that is. I don't know who would be the one to do it. Just for those who don't know, in the history of these streams, I think we've had like 5 of them or 4. We haven't really seen many goals, which perfectly fits the way this game's been going. The first one of these we had was a 0-0. That was the Manchester Derby during the second one during the Premier League season. This game might be heading towards a similar fate as that one. Curacao pushing forward, though, trying to get into the 18-yard box. It's still with Curacao. Wide to Margarita, still in the 18. Low cross, big save moving to his right. Or actually, rather, diving to his right was Gonzalez. And now El Salvador are struggling to get out of their own half. Curacao are really able to get some good opportunities in the last couple of minutes. So a clearance, and it'll be a free kick coming for Curacao. A little bit of a shove by Gill. That'll be Curacao ball. You had to think of who would win this game right now. It has not been a pretty one for either team, but you have to imagine that Curacao are starting to feel it, starting to feel the momentum. While they are playing a little bit slow right now, you have to feel like some things are starting to point their way. As not that time, as there's a errant pass taken away, and Flores able to partially clear it away. Flicked on by, I believe, Osorio. Yeah, it was Osorio. He has it now. Trying to find Gill. That pass taken away by Bacuna. And now numbers are on the break for Curacao. Here's Margarita. Going with a little 1-2. Margarita might be through, but that pass is a little too far. Excellent goalkeeping by Gonzalez. By the way, for those who care, the series history, Curaçao's never beaten El Salvador. They've played 5 times, as that clearance scope was won back by Gill. But El Salvador lose it, and it gets cleared away. El Salvador have won 4 times. They drew once back in 2017, and El Salvador has won the other 4 times. So it's a series history that's favored El Salvador, but right now it's a result that wouldn't favor either team. At the end of the day, while it would be a nice result for Curacao to go out and get a point, last time I were here, I believe they made the knockouts. So they made the knockouts fairly recently. It's a foul, though, against Curacao. Be free kick coming for El Salvador. If we look at the Curacao national team, they made the quarterfinals in 2019. They withdrew for 21. They did not qualify for 2023. Are back and are trying to find something. And they have the ball now, pushing forward with Bacuna, with Junior Bacuna. Now they pass it back to the feet of Gari. Shout out to almost 285 of you viewing the stream tonight. Big thank you to everyone who's been a part of this stream tonight. There's a ball on the far side. Low cross blocked and out of play for a throw about 5 yards away from the corner flag for Curacao. Curacao passed it nearly all the way back. It's down the left wing with Gore. Nice little 1-2, but a brilliant sliding challenge by El Salvador's Cibrian. And it will be a throw-in upcoming for the C in the ABC Islands. 20 minutes to go. Throw-in taken on the far side by Curacao. Initial clearance was blocked, but it's Goddard who wins it back for Curacao. So still in the El Salvador half. Now it's on the near side with Margarita. Back to Leandro Bacuna. He gets it right back from Florenes. All trying to go towards the inside towards Junior Bacuna, but it was low. Had a lot of steam on it. And it goes all the way to the goalkeeper, Gonzalez. Cleared away by Gonzalez. Initially went over the head of Martina. But it goes all the way to the goalkeeper room, who hasn't had to do a lot in a match like this. Yeah, it's not been the prettiest game so far, but still a chance for either of these teams to go out and get a result. Here's Gotti. Near side, Margarita. Now Leandro Bacuna. Back to him again. And we're going to get a foul and a free kick. And we're going to get some substitutions. Not sure. Oh, it's going to be 5 total changes. Yeah, I'm not writing this down. Sorry, chat. I'm not able to keep a note of all of these, but we have players coming on. We have El Salvador number 10, I believe, coming on. I don't know exactly the number. So one of the players coming off is Osorio. He is replaced by, I believe, Enrico Hernandez. Also coming on is Mauricio Cerritos. Additionally, it will be, I don't know, who is the other one? We'll actually get the last one for you in a minute. It'll be Locadia, number 9, and the 11 of Jeremy and Antonise coming on as well for Curacao. So yeah, we'll get the full update of substitutions in just a second for everyone at home. But yeah, a million subs were just made. Nonetheless, Curacao have a free kick. They like to play it short. So one sub is Elvin Alvarado. It's replaced by the 10, Harold Osorio's offer Seren, number 7. Curacao just dribbled over the end line. Nice job there. Along with the number 8 of Landeverd. So Landeverd, Osorio. I'm forgetting the other one. Gore is off for Antonise. I know that one for sure. And Locadia is on for Castanier. So they go with a double attacking change for Curacao, which I totally back, by the way. Long ball in the direction of Gil, but it's taken away, and now Curacao are pushing forward again. They're trying to go wide to Margarita, but it's out for a throw-in, and Curacao are starting to push forward again. They throw it backwards, and they're just going to go all the way back to Martina. We have 15 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Curacao have been excellent in the second half. Much better than what we saw in the first half from them. El Salvador have not been their best, but are trying to rescue a point in their opening match in the group stages of the Concacaf Gold Cup 2025. Here's a nice looking through ball in the direction of one of the new substitutes. It's a low pass and a big shot, but it's wide. How has that one not gone in? It was the 8 of Comenencia who was right there, but pushed it wide on the near post. Had his body fading backwards and just couldn't do it. Another missed opportunity for Curacao here in the second half. Comenencia has been solid, but bad break again. So it's Seren, Cerritos, and Hernandez on, replacing Osorio, Alvarado, and Landeverd. And we're going to get another substitution, the 19 of Emerson Mauricio. And he will replace the number 9 of Brian Gill. So Gill going to come off with the yellow card. And he will be replaced by Emerson Mauricio, who plays in El Salvador for Alianza. By the way, Cerritos plays for Firpo in El Salvador. Enrico Hernandez plays for Top OSS in the Netherlands. What? Oh, in the second division. Goal kick played away, but no one able to really hold on to it, and it goes all the way back to the Curacao defense. Ball hit out of bounds. It'll be a Curacao throw-in. Someone has to do something in this game, right? Like, it would be very disappointing if I go 120 minutes of games today and we get nothing. While it would be fitting for how today's going for me personally, it would be very unfortunate. Curacao get it back and are trying to push forward and find the goal that they desperately need. Well, one of these teams desperately need. Ball goes wide to Comenencia. Now Leandro Bacuna. Back to Gari. Now it's back to Comenencia. He's pushing forward now near side wing, about in line with the 18-yard box. He gets tackled. Play continues, and El Salvador are trying to push forward, but great defending by Gari for Curacao. Flicked on into the direction of the new substitute striker and Mauricio, but he gets dispossessed. And now Curacao are really pushing forward now. But another turnover. No one could really hold on to the ball right now. Long ball in the direction of the 17 of Henriquez, and he's going to win a throw-in for El Salvador. Does any team have a result in them in a game like this? As we're going to get a throw-in coming for, it's going to be El Salvador. Still more Gold Cup action to come tonight, not on this channel, but you can watch it on Fox Sports 1. It is Curacao, Canada and Honduras. Long throw, intercepted eventually by Curacao. Now a duel right at the midfield line between the two teams. And ball's going to be slide tackled out of play and out for a throw-in for Curacao. That was Junior Bacuna who was in that duel. Now a long throw. And now Curacao pushing forward. And that's a possibly dangerous challenge. Both of them are tugging at the jersey. It was the substitute Locadia who will win the free kick. The 9 in blue, who plays at a club called Amrobita in the Primera Federación. I have no idea what league this is. In the regional, I've give up on this. Regardless of where this guy plays at, you know, you naturally go out and lose to Barça Athletic, which I don't even. Is that like whatever? We're gonna give up on that. Nonetheless, it is a free kick coming for Curacao, who have been the better team in the second half. And after El Salvador were great in like the last 25 minutes of the first half, can Curacao grab the goal? Looks like it'll be whipped in by Junior Bacuna. Correction, it will not be Junior Bacuna. It's whipped in. Back post. Too far. Trying to find Van Agema. Solid strike. It was actually whipped in by Leandro Bacuna. Honestly, he could have gone for goal, and I think he could have had a chance at it, but wasn't a bad ball. But ducking his head to avoid the crossbar was Van Agema. He got some good hops, Van Agema. But El Salvador are now pushing forward themselves the other way. This is like this will be their first chance in a while. Low cross blocked, out of play, corner coming El Salvador. It was won by Enrico Hernandez. Now the crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. Does anyone have a winner in this game? Whipped in near post. Low cross cleared away. The initial target was the two of Cibrian. El Salvador win it back, though, on the far side, but it gets intercepted. And now Curacao are going to start to push forward again. Progressing forward is Curacao. Over the midfield line now, near side with Garri. That's an excellent pass in the direction of the new striker. The one that came on Locadia. He drops it off for Garri, right in line with the 18-yard box. Garri tries to lob one in towards the back post, but it was headed away by El Salvador. Low screaming shot from the top of the box is going to slice wide and out for a goal kick. El Salvador want to play quickly in the direction that they want to go on the far side, which they've been very successful in. That was with the 19 for El Salvador, but they cannot connect that final pass, and now little Curacao can maybe go the other way. That was in the direction of Emerson Mauricio, but he gets dispossessed. Ball goes wide, far side across midfield now, come Curacao. Ball was with the left back of Florinus. Here's a nice lofted ball in the direction of a Curacao player, but it's headed away, and then one back by Tamacas for El Salvador. 83rd minute of play, 0-0 between El Salvador and Curacao in this Group B opening match. Curacao with a bit of physical play out on the far side, and they win it back immediately. Now moving forward is Martina for Curacao. Over the midfield line with Garri. That was Margarita who had an errant pass, and then almost an errant pass by Garri himself. Now they go wide to Margarita, and ball's gonna go out of play. It's going out for a throw-in, and it's one of the new substitutes, Darwin Seren, who is shouting right at that assistant referee. It's gonna be a throw-in for Curacao, right in front of the El Salvador supporters. Let's take a look at the replay. Yeah, it's a missed call there by the assistant referee. Usually I'm the one to defend those referees. It's going to hit off of the heel and out of play for a throw. Substitutions coming on. Brandley Kuwas is going to replace Margarita, and also coming off is the 8 of Comenencia. He's replaced by Godfred Romartore. El Salvador won it back, but immediately turned it over again. As we're into the final 6 minutes and change, you gotta imagine there'll be a couple added minutes into this at the end of this one. Yeah, an English-speaking broadcaster doing 2 Spanish teams. I know. It's not out of the ordinary, but these 2 teams have fought hard, but not really anything to separate them so far. With it now is Leandro Bacuna for Curacao. They're in the El Salvador half, but not that far in it right now with the ball. Right now in central midfield. And now it's wide. And Curacao trying to push forward on that far wing, but it's gonna be a throw-in for Curacao. Florence wins it. Now it's Leandro Bacuna. Near side now with Gari. Someone's going to have to go for it. Also hope some of you are enjoying the NBA Finals as well. The Stanley Cup Finals are tonight. Ball over the top in the direction of the Curacao winger, but it was too far and collected by Gonzalez. Yeah, Stanley Cup Finals are tonight. How about the NBA Finals yesterday with Oklahoma City getting a big Game 5 win? They'll have a chance to seal the deal on Thursdays. There'll be a free kick upcoming for El Salvador. Yeah, not a lot in this game for either team, but the small island nation with the capital of Willemstad are nearing a shot at least 1 point so far. So we're into the side of the final 4 minutes. Ball bouncing around. Neither team able to really possess it. And it's going to be a foul and a free kick upcoming. It was Locadia who will win the free kick. Foul conceded by Cibrian. Free kick Curacao. If you're just joining us, score is still the same way we started. That could be changing here with Curacao's high lofted ball in the direction of Locadia, the substitute striker. Now a duel on the sideline near side, but it will go out of play for a throw-in for El Salvador. Into the 87th minute, now heading towards the 88th. A matchup between two teams in what most call Central America. As we're waiting for play to resume, not sure what's going on, and referee says let's go, and now we're ready to go again. Throwing one back by Curacao's Gari. He won the initial ball, now Curacao have it. As we head towards the final couple of minutes. Curacao trying to find a way to grab that goal. They've been pushing for it. Here is Gari again, trying to slip through one of his teammates. Gari gets taken down. This is going to be a set piece. Kuwas was almost Bradley Kuwas immediately went to the referee. He tried to do a 1-2 with Gari. I don't know. That's a tough one. Cruz is the one who will concede the foul. So it'll be a dangerous set piece upcoming for Curacao. It will be taken by the new substitute, Bradley Kuwas. As we're into the 89th minute. Nothing separating these two, not yet at least. But it's an opportunity right now for Curacao to change that. They've been better with these opportunities tonight, Curacao. But this is the chance that they've been searching. Could this be the chance that they've been searching for all night? Kuwas to take. He goes low, headed away. Excellent work there by the El Salvador defense. It was right at El Salvador, and they're able to just clear it away. Now it's Henrique, and he's going to get fouled. And it'll be a free kick upcoming. Foul conceded by Martina. Another wasted opportunity by Curacao with a low cross by Kuwas that couldn't find anyone. And it'll be a throw-in, a free kick taken by El Salvador. They try to go over the top, but Curacao's defense able to come and clear it away with Van Ejma. As we're into the 90th minute, we'll see how much stoppage time we get. And we're going to get a foul. No. Referee says play on. And another moment where the referee says play on. Collisions galore here in the final minutes. Good work there by El Salvador trying to keep possession. They try to go with a little flick, and this is going to be a foul for sure. Conceded by El Salvador. So it'll be a free kick coming for Curacao as we are into the 90th minute. How much stoppage time will we get is the question. It'll be 3 added minutes to the end of this game. So this will be one of the final attacks of tonight. Trying to chest it down was Kuwas, but he couldn't find the new striker, Locadia, and it was cleared away by El Salvador. Ball heading towards the near side, towards the El Salvador bench. They're able to maintain it, courtesy of the 23 of Cartagena. They hit it forward, but it's now chested down, and was chested down by Curacao, and now El Salvador try to go the long switch by Cartagena. Headed away by Florianus. But still with it is El Salvador trying to spin move. Do a spin. Was an El Salvador player. And play is going to continue. Curacao have it. They have to go. Long diagonal switch in the direction of Kuwas. Kuwas tries to keep it in, and that's a good duel between him and Flores. But it's out of play for a throw, and that will likely nearly seal the deal tonight. El Salvador are just going to try and slow things down and take the draw. Not how I thought this game would go initially. Kuwas initially won the ball back for Curacao, but he's going to immediately be flagged for a foul. You see the El Salvador supporters in full voice. This will be the first 0-0 of the tournament. It'll be the first game. We've played 6 games up to this point in the Gold Cup. We've seen a goal in all of them. That will likely not happen tonight in the opening game of 2 in Group B this evening. Long ball hit forward by El Salvador. Initially won back by Curacao, and now El Salvador have it again. They're trying to push forward with Seren. He still has it as we head into the final 30 seconds, and Curacao get an interception. This could be the final attack, and this is a reckless challenge. Referee is going to say, play on, advantage played. So 20 seconds to go. Curacao have to go. Pushing forward now are the boys in blue. Do they have a goal in them? It doesn't look like they will, as that's a nice interception by the new substitute Hernandez. And we're going to get a whistle. And that is going to be it. 90 minutes played tonight in the opening match in Group B. But it ends the same way we started. And for the second time in channel history, we will have a 0-0 on one of these streams, as this match will end Curacao 0, El Salvador 0. A game where Curacao had the upper hand early. They were dominating possession. El Salvador had some really good chances towards the back end of the first half, but a second half that to me was dominated by Curacao. No one could break through in the end. A Curacao team that had 0.7 expected goals in the first half, had 0.07 expected goals in the first half, have 0.70 in the second, but just could not find the breakthrough they needed. For the second time in this matchup's history, according to FootMob, Curacao gets a nice result against El Salvador. In the 8th meeting between these two sides in all time, not including the ones that FootMob brought up, is the 4th time that these two have drawn. The series history will now be 4 wins to El Salvador. This is from when Curacao became Curacao, by the way. 4 wins for El Salvador, 4 draws, and none for Curacao in the 8 they've played since 2011. But both of these teams draw their opening match and now have a very, very interesting road ahead in the Gold Cup. Next matchup for these two, Curacao looks like they will be headed towards a second matchup. This time, their next game will be against Canada on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That match played at the Shell Energy Stadium, located in Houston, Texas. And it'll be El Salvador who get Honduras. A battle of two teams that made it to the final round of qualifying ahead of 2026 and in 2022. That will do it for this opening stream on the Summer of Soccer and the Summer of Streams on RBTV. Unfortunate that it ended 0-0, but it was a fun night nonetheless. I'm Robbie Basil saying good night here from the first stream on the Summer of Streams and the Summer of Soccer on RBTV. The opening match of our series ends Curacao 0, El Salvador 0.